Hello and welcome back to KIRKY'S Kitchens. Today we're going to be making chocolate fondant, caramel sauce and with chocolate soil. And if we have time in the lessons we might make ice cream, but I'm not going to demonstrate ice cream today. So this is usually over a double lesson or 2 lessons. This is probably one of my favourite dishes to make if I am wanting to show off to friends coming over for dinner or something, because it's quite fancy but it's quite easy to do as well at the same time. So equipment wise, for the first section to make the fondants, you're going to need a large clean bowl with an electric whisk or a hand whisk, but balloon whisk. You're going to need a bain-marie, so you need some water in your saucepan and then a glass bowl on top. Make sure the water doesn't touch the glass bowl. You're going to need a measuring jug, pastry brush and a spatula. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is, with your small amount of 25 grams of butter, you're going to melt this in the microwave. So you want to melt your butter, set that aside. In your bain-marie, you want to put your 100 grams of butter, chop it up, you don't want a big block, it'll take too long to cook, and your 100 grams of dark chocolate. Dark chocolate works better. I have tried it with milk chocolate and it doesn't work as well. So with this one, you're just going to go put this on a hob on a medium heat to get this to melt. Okay, so once you've got your chocolate and your butter on the hob melting, you're then going to prepare your ramekins. So for your ramekins, it's easier if you put them on a small baking tray. You're then going to get your ramekins, you're going to get your melted butter, this makes 4, and you're just going to brush your butter around it. This is to stop them from sticking. So put your butter in, rub it all around, and then you're going to get a little bit of cocoa powder, pop it in, 1. So you've got your 2 tablespoons, then you're going to get your ramekins, make sure it's sealed, and shake it around. So this will stick to your edges. You might need to double go. If it hasn't stuck enough, you might need more butter as well. And then exactly the same with your other 2. Put your cocoa powder in. Make sure the edges are okay. And shake it around. Let that bit out. It's quite messy this bit. And if it hasn't stuck, you can get a bit more butter. And then with these, they're just going to go into the fridge to set before you put your filling in. Okay, so next what you're going to do is you're going to make the cake filling. For this, you need 4 eggs. And you're going to put 2 whole eggs in. So crack it into your big bowl. And 2 yolks. So with this, we're going to save the egg white to use for another lesson, or you can also pop in the freezer your egg whites to make later, something from later, or you can use them from around. So you just want then 2 yolks from the other 2 eggs. So 2 whole eggs and 2 yolks. I hate waste, so I'm going to save my egg whites for around. I'm going to put that in the fridge. And then I'm also going to wash my hands now because I've used egg white. Then next what I'm going to do is add my 100 grams of sugar. And I'm going to whisk this until it leaves a trail. So I want it to go nice and thick. You can use an electric whisk or you can use a balloon whisk. So once your bain-marie has melted your chocolate and butter, you're going to set it aside to cool. So just go back and check it. Don't forget about it, you don't want to burn your chocolate, but you want it all melted. Okay, so once it's whisked for about 5-7 minutes, think of like if you do a Swiss roll. It wants to leave a trail like that. Okay, so once you've then got your trail, you're then going to sieve in. It's much easier to do it with electric whisk than by hand. So So with your sieve, just sieve in your plain flour, 100 grams of plain flour, and then you're going to mix this together gently. You don't want to get rid of all your air. Okay, so after you've sieved your flour in and you've mixed it and you've combined it nicely, you're then going to add your melted chocolate and butter mixture. Make sure it's not too hot because you don't want to cook your egg. So you should have let it cool for a little while whilst you were whisking. If it is still a bit hot, then do some washing up first. Then you're going to add this to your mixture. So you use a spatula to get it all in. And then all you're going to do is mix that as well. And make sure it's combined. Again, try not to overmix it because you don't want to get rid of all that air. Make sure you're turning it over because the liquid will go to the bottom. And then once you mix, the easiest thing is to pour it into a jug to pour into your ramekins. This is a really good one to do for your food exams as it looks pretty impressive and you'll get loads of different cooking methods. Because you've got your bain-marie, you've got baking, and if you make this sauce you've got simmering, frying, and if you make ice cream as well, you've got another cooking method. And if you make your chocolate soil, basically it's mega high skill. Okay, so once you put it in a jug, the next thing you're going to do is put it in your ramekins. So just, and they want to go full to the top because they don't rise. If you've got small ones, it might make more than 4. Make sure they're even as well so they cook evenly. And once you've done that, you're just going to put them in the fridge to set till your next lesson, or till, if it's a double lesson, till you have made your caramel soil and your caramel sauce and your chocolate soil, and then they go in the oven. They only go in the oven for 10 minutes. Okay, so next for your chocolate fondant high skill dish, you're then going to make chocolate soil to go with it. So for your chocolate soil, you need to weigh 30 grams of water. Make sure you weigh it, don't do it in a measuring jug because it needs to be exact. And you're going to put this into a saucepan or a non-stick frying pan. Then you're going to get your 50 grams of chocolate. I'm using dark chocolate, and you're going to chop it up really, really finely. If you have big chunks, it won't work, so it needs to be almost like shavings. So make sure it's diced up really small. Okay, so after you've diced up your chocolate really small, you're going to put your water and your sugar in your saucepan or your frying pan. And then you're going to move to the hob. You also need a baking tray with either a baking liner or an greaseproof paper before you go. Can you see how it's becoming golden? Okay, and once you've got it out, fill up your pan with hot water and leave the thing in it, otherwise it will be cleaning for ages. And then your chocolate soil is on there. It doesn't look very appetizing, but it will do. We're going to make the caramel sauce. This is really easy. Just in one pan, you're going to put 25 grams of butter, 90 grams of golden caster sugar. I've got a mixture of normal caster sugar and golden. And then you're going to add 150 mils of cream. And then you're just going to turn the heat up. You don't want too high, a medium heat, to melt this all together. And this is going to make your caramel sauce to go with your chocolate fondant. You could, if you thought it was too much sugar, you could always do some fresh fruit with it, or a fruit puree as well, and which would add some colour. But I feel like as it's such a chocolatey dessert, it needs caramel to go with it. And then you're just going to mix it all until it's all melted. And once it's melted, you then want it to bubble and it will go into a nice golden brown caramel.